Hi everyone, this is Streams of Living Water, thanks for watching. So today we're going to look at how to set up a tarp. So the first thing you need to do when you set up a tarp is look for the right area. So I'm going to set up a tarp in between this tree and that tree. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tension a ridge line across, and then I'm going to peg out the four corners of the tarp using guy lines that I'm going to tie on as I go. I like using tarps because it's the way forward. I think, you know, it's better than sleeping in a tent. It's a lot more, you get more fresh air. I leave a gap of about a foot underneath the edge of the tarp at the bottom so that I can see 360 around me when I sleep. So obviously when I wake up, if I hear noises in the night, I can see what it is. I also like it because you can say it lots of different ways. It's very versatile, and I like practicing my knots, and knots come in handy, and you have to tie certain knots a certain way in order to get the right setup. So this is the way I've done it. There are many other ways, but I've been doing this for quite a while now, so this is my preferred method. Right, so setting up a tarp is very simple. All you need is a tarp. This is a DD hammock tarp. It's 3 metre by 3 metre. You can get it in green, brown and multicam, I believe, and it retails about £35 currently in 2016. So you need your tarp. I also have a bag that contains my ridge line, and it contains 4 lengths of paracord. So these lengths are 3 metres each, and this is 11 metres. And some pegs, a peg bag. So the first thing we're going to do is tie a burr line around this tree here. So I'll just pay out my rope. I've coiled it. So what we're looking for when we tie the ridge line is that this angle here coming out from the knot is less than 45 degrees. The reason for that is if it's like here and you're pulling this way, it's also going to pull in and cause more strain on your paracord, and this is 550 paracord. It has a breaking strain of 550 pounds. Right, so the next thing you want to do once you've got the burr line in the ridge line around a tree is you want to get it the right height that you want it to. I usually have it up to like my chest area, so because I like it quite high up. You know, if it's raining or you're gonna know there's going to be bad weather, you can have it lower down, peg it out in the ground, and then you'll keep nice and dry. Okay, so you get it wrapped around the tree, making sure there's no damage to the tree. And then what I'm going to do is put the tarp through the ridge line. So get the end, and if you notice, I've actually tied some smaller diameter string. It's like 2 mil diameter cord onto the very ends of the ridge of the middle piece of my tarp. So these are to tension it at the end. I'll wrap this round, I'll show you that later. So what I'm going to do at the moment is I'm going to leave these ones out. I'm going to thread the paracord ridge line through the middle 3 tags there. So 1, 2, 3. So once that's through, you can pull it through. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do with the ridge line is create a pulley system. So it's going to be a ratio of 3 to 1, I believe. So I'm going to make a loop. You basically want to make a loop in the ridge line. I make it maybe 1.5 meters, 2 meters away from the other tree. It depends how much space you get in between your 2 trees. But with this, I usually tie a figure of 8 because it's easy to undo. You can tie an overhand knot or any loop you want, alpine butterfly. So I've got a loop there. The rest of the cord goes around the tree at about the same, the same height as the other tree. So you've got a nice level ridge line, and then you just with you've gone round the tree, and with the very end you then put through the loop, pull that through, and then you can tension it. So I'm tensioning it, and I'm going to get it to the height I want it around the back of the tree, make it in a straight line so it's level and it's in line. So then you can just crank up the tension as much as you want. I've got quite a bit left here of the string, so to keep the tension I'm going to go around the tree, then I can just tie it off here. I just wrap it. It gets extra tension if you wrap it round. Obviously I'm making this less than 45 degrees as well, and wrap it round and then put a few overhand knots, making a clove hitch, which is not going to come undone very easily. Okay, so there's my ridge line. Okay, right, so the next thing we're going to do is wrap the prussicks around the ridge line. So you don't have to tie it to the end. I just do that for convenience. I wrap around 3 or 4 times, and then with a little carabiner, this is an S binder, Night Eyes S binder, I put it through, and then that should hold. So then you've got all this room for manoeuvre, because I've done it between 2 trees long distance away. You can pull it to whichever length, whichever way along your ridge line you want to put the tarp. Actually, you can just do a prusik at the other side. I'll try and zoom in a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Wrapping round, making sure there's no twists in the line, in the prusik line. It goes round and round as many times as you want. 3 to 4 is ample. And then with the carabiner, just clip that into the start. And what have you got there? Pull it tight. It's not going anywhere. You can adjust it so that's not pulling off, but you can move it if you want to. So that's nice and tight along the ridge line. And then depending on the angle you want for your tarp, you can just peg it out if you wanted, each side like so, the 4 corners. Or what I like to do is use paracord. Now I do the knots every time I string it out, and I like to take my time in putting the tarp out. Putting the tarp out, I find it quite relaxing, and you can just focus on what you're doing and forget about the cares of the world. Quick bowline. And then you could do a slip knot, like another prusik basically, and with this piece attached to this piece, and that'll give you some room for manoeuvre. It can slide up and down and give you you can adjust it as you go. But I like to just get my peg. I'll get 4 pegs out, stick them in my pocket, and I'll put my other ridge lines, my 3 other ridge lines in my other pocket or in my back pocket. Now I'm good to go around as I go. So then I measure out, just eyeballing it, using your estimation skills, how you want the tension pulling along the line that it's stitched to. It makes for longevity on the tarp, it stops this wrecking the tarp. So I want to peg it about there. So let me show you again. So I just estimate. Where I want the tarp to hang and where I want the peg to fall. So about there, I can do a figure of 8, another loop of any knot you like. Doesn't have to be fancy. And then I will peg it out. Right. I've done this for that long now, I can do it without thinking pretty much. So, you know where you want the loop, so you tie it in that place. Then you can just pull it out with a peg. You can always readjust it. If you get it wrong, don't worry. You know, it does stretch out sometimes as you fix it. It's looking pretty nice now, isn't it? Yeah, that could do with pulling out again, but you know. And then, so I'll show you this side just for the sake of convenience. I'm just going to take it to the ground. So if I had cord on it, it would be out here. You can attach it to other trees if you want, if you have a long enough cord. It's up to you. But these are the basic cords that I have as a baseline to use in a tarp. If it's stormy weather, you could peg it all the way along. You can have loads of different combinations, but this is my favourite. Right, it's nice under here. I've got loads of shelter. If there was wind coming from that direction, it would be blocked off. I can see underneath here. I've got loads of space. You could sleep 2 people easily with all the kit in here. The possibilities are endless. The only limit's your own imagination. So now I've readjusted that side there. It's a nice kind of natural colour. I prefer the brown. So there it is in all its glory. Now obviously you want to brush all the debris from the floor, any rocks, get them out of the way where you're going to set your camp up. I use a ground sheet as well, just to stop the rising damp in the night, getting you all soaked. You don't want to tarp it in extreme humidity, but yeah, it's good. So now to de-rig it, I'm just going to do all those steps in reverse. I'm going to take the pegs out and take the paracord off. I'm going to detension the ridge line. I'm going to take the prussiks off before I detension the ridge line, and then I'm going to take the bow line out. So there you go. Just a quick note, with these paracord that are 3 meters long, I half them again, so they're like that, maybe a third time, and then tie an overhand knot, and that just keeps it secure in my backpack.